this is an update, obviously, on my Datsun 1200 vintage race car project. What are we up to now? Episode 750 or something? I don't know, I've lost count. Been a long restoration either way. But I think we probably should have called this the Clever Bastards episode because of what I'm about to show you in this shed here behind me. So I'm at my neighbour Tom McManaway's place. Actually, I say he's my neighbour, but he lives about 5 kilometres away. But when you live in the country like we do, 5 kilometres is still your neighbour. Anyway, back in 2020 when the whole COVID pandemic thing was happening and governments around the world were telling people to stay at home and isolate, I just remember sitting around and eating a lot of chocolate. I know a lot of people baked bread. A lot of people bake bread, in fact. But my neighbour here, Tom, he built a rolling road in his home shed. And by that, I don't mean he bought a kit and installed it. I mean he worked out how one of these things were designed and built, and then he basically built it himself from scratch. And I think it's pretty epic. So I thought it'd be fun for you guys to meet Tom and he can explain how he came about designing and building this thing. My car is actually on the rolling road itself, strapped down and ready to go. Tom doesn't really want to be on video, but you know, too bad. I don't know how this thing's going to go. We did do a run with it yesterday. There were some issues with the distributor and hopefully a cure overnight has been found, but we'll soon find out. But anyway, first let's meet Tom. Oh, and I should just say, this is a Datsun A12 motor, 1338 cc's, 8 valve, pushrod, 60-year-old design. So these numbers are not going to blow your mind. This is not going to be amazing. I feel like I'm making excuses already for your inevitable disappointment. Right, folks, so this is Tom, and he doesn't want to be on TV, but it's all right, he's here anyway. I just really wanted to show you guys what I think is quite an amazing creation that Tom has put together himself. And so sort of walk us through it. So originally from what I remember, you were originally looking at buying a rolling road kit, weren't you?
Yes, I was going to buy one that had already been modified.
Yep.
It was an old bed with the rollers and everything, and someone had modified it to run sort of the modern electronics, if you like.
Righto.
And it was fairly cheap.
Yeah, right. What's fairly cheap for a rolling road?
I think it was $17,000.
Jeez.
Was what I bid up to anyway.
Yeah.
Was on Trade Me.
Wow. And so what do you get for 17 grand?
So, not a lot.
Right, yeah, okay.
So it was a twin roller design, which is pretty common.
Yeah. Okay, so you got basically the back wheels sit in between the two rollers.
In between the two, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So they have it was pretty old and it didn't have knurled rollers, which was another problem.
What's that mean?
So the rollers were smooth, basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yep. So hard to get traction on. So anything over maybe 450 horsepower sort of thing, you'd end up with traction issues.
Yep.
And then it's pretty much useless after that.
Oh.
So low powered stuff, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to start pushing some power, they become a bit of an issue. So
right, okay.
It was about that time that I sort of thought I could probably make my own.
Jeez.
Which was a weird idea that I got in my head, but and I sort of thought, well, I did some sums and thought, well, I could probably build it for a similar sort of price.
Wow.
It cost a bit more in the end, but but
right.
and I could build it so that it could take more power, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And so, like, you know, so you did a lot of this. Did you already have the shed?
No.
So you built the shed for this?
Yes, specifically for this. And if I was going to do it again, I'd make it bigger. But
would you? Yeah.
That's a separate issue.
Yep.
So yeah, when the shed was built, I had to. The first thing I did was actually build the pit.
So you built the shed for the rolling road, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you built the floor for a rolling road as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep. So we actually had to put the dyno in here before we built all the walls and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
So, and you did this like during COVID lockdown and stuff, didn't you?
Yes.
Right?
I started it before then.
Yeah, okay.
But when COVID lockdown hit, that was a prime opportunity for me to sit there for hours on end building this thing.
Yeah. So while the rest of us were all lying around eating cake, you you were doing this, right? You were building this. And
Yes.
So, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and
So that's
maybe
pretty impressive.
Maybe drinking beer instead of
Okay,
eating
yeah,
cake.
good. Okay, good to know you did some normal stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I was at COVID lockdown time. I was machining the traction grooves in the roller.
Right. So talk us through. So where did you get the roller from?
So I built the roller. I bought. It's basically a conduit. Not conduit. Sorry.
Like a culvert.
Culvert pipe.
Right. So what? Like a giant drain pipe, essentially, or?
Pretty much, yeah. So steel.
Right.
They use it in probably like oil fields and stuff like that as well, I guess.
Okay.
So I bought that.
Yep.
And the guys that I bought that from, they also cut the end caps and supplied the shaft and a centre support and everything. Okay. So that was all.
This would need to be perfectly round, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So basically, a culvert pipe is just a big hollow pipe, like a giant metal drain pipe, right?
Yep. And turns out they're not very round at all.
Yes, because you couldn't have it being oblong, because that would be of no use when it
Yes. So what I ended up doing, I fabricated the roller, which is pretty straightforward.
Okay, so
it's just a shaft with some end caps and stuff and welded all together.
Okay.
And what I had to do, because it wasn't very round, I had to put 20-ton jacks in there to try and push it out to the correct shape, as close to as I could.
Yep.
So I did that and then welded it all up.
Yep.
And then I had to mount the roller on a homemade lathe, essentially.
Right.
So it was mounted to a frame with bearing blocks either end.
Right.
The same bearing blocks that it uses now to roll on.
Okay.
So I mounted that in a frame.
And so how deep does this go down?
So the roller's 30 inches, so it's
Wow.
about 800 mil to the bottom of the pit, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a bit less. So I set the roller up.
Yep.
And I made a homemade lathe essentially, and machined it all smooth. So it was round.
So this was smooth, right?
Yep, that was smooth.
Yep.
And then I modified my homemade lathe and milled these slots in it. So these slots here are for basically to get better traction.
Yeah. And so, wow. So how many slots are there, do you know?
I can't remember. I can tell you it took me about 200 hours to machine them.
Wow. And so how did you do that? So those are perfectly straight and perfectly, like the space between them is perfect as well. So how did you do that?
So I had a compound slide off my actual lathe, mounted to some linear rail that ran the length of the roller. We might have to throw in some photos.
Okay, yeah.
And I basically used a modified bit off the lathe, just a carbide tip, and I just ran it down the length of the roller, had the roller locked.
Yep.
And just ran the tool down and did several passes on each one. I think each one was about 7 passes.
So each of these grooves here was 7 passes?
Yep.
Wow.
And there's quite a few of them. So.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Man, that's incredible. And so this is how it all runs, right? So you got this is what runs the roller, yeah?
Nope. So the car essentially runs the roller.
Oh, right. Got it.
And this here is what they call an eddy current retarder.
Okay.
So it uses, you can kind of see these big white bits.
Yes.
These are coils.
Yep.
And they use magnetic force onto these rotors on the outside. Right. You give it a bit of a spin so you can see the rotors.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And they cause eddy currents basically, which it's like a frictionless brake, so to speak.
So we've got my car on here at the moment, and we're going to do some runs on this thing at some point. So you start the car up.
Yep.
And so you've got a TV monitor here. So you're sitting in the car basically, aren't you? Start the car up, and you stick it in gear. And what, get it into high gear or?
Yeah, normally whichever gear's 1-to-1 ratio.
Right, okay, yeah. And so we've got like cables and stuff going all over the place. Cable going to the motor, what's?
Yes, so this one here, this is connected to a knock sensor which you bolt to the block.
Right.
And then I listen to that with some earbuds basically, and you can hear basically hear the combustion, and if there's any detonation in there, you can hear it.
Okay. Wow. Okay, and then, so like once it's all running and everything, and then you've got a whole lot of information on here.
Yep.
And essentially you're tuning the motor, aren't you? You're tuning the motor as it's sitting here. So for, like, this is only 1300 cc's, it's only a small motor, but it is a race motor and it's fairly high compression and everything. And the idea is that you're taking a racing environment and you're tuning the motor to a racing environment, I guess, yeah?
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, got it. And so you got this information here.
Yep.
And then, like, what do you start doing? Like, what are you doing when you're sitting in the car and you've got your laptop and...
So it depends on the car. Obviously, this being a carbureted vehicle.
Yeah, true. So you do a lot of fuel injection stuff.
Yes. Yep. Probably more so than carburetors these days.
Yep.
But yeah, so with a carburetor, you balance them and do all that kind of thing.
Yep.
And get it idling nicely, set the timing.
Yep.
And then you can kind of start from there, and you just sort of start loading it up a little bit.
Yep.
You don't go doing a full power run straight away.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that everything's working, it's not getting hot, doing anything too funny.
Okay.
So, and then you can if you can sort of see already that maybe it's way too rich or something like that, just from sort of medium load stuff, you can make a change straight away.
Okay.
But if not, and everything looks good, you can start doing a power run.
Yep.
And then you'll look at the data. So you'll have your lambda reading, which is basically the air-fuel ratio coming out the tailpipe.
Okay, yeah.
So we use that, and that gives you your fuel curve.
Yep.
And you adjust the jetting to suit that, essentially.
Right.
And then afterwards, once you've sort of got the fuel dialed in, so you would normally start with quite a safe sort of timing number.
Right, okay,
especially for pump gas motors where you know that detonation could quite likely be a thing.
Yep.
So once your fuel's pretty much dialed in, you can start increasing the timing.
Yep.
And the way that you know that's working is you gain torque and power, basically.
Right, yeah.
And then there's two different scenarios. You will either advance the timing to the point where it stops making power.
Yep.
So then you would dial it back to sort of that optimum point.
Yep.
Or the second thing is, and you get this a lot on pump gas engines, is they run into knock.
Right.
So there's like a detonation inside the cylinder, which you can hear.
Yep.
And that's where you have to back the timing off from that point, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so, I mean, so we're going to run this car in a little while. We ran it yesterday, didn't we? And got up to about 8,000 RPM, but there's quite a bad flat spot. Turned out to be the distributor, so that's why the cap's off and everything. But yeah, we've hopefully sorted out a fix, and we're going to have another go today. But like this room is sort of like so you got big pipes, you got fans here.
Yep.
Just so you don't kill yourself, because we are in an enclosed space here. But it's kind of like a music studio in a way, isn't it? So this is all sound deadening type stuff, isn't it, on the walls?
The black stuff sort of stops the reverberation, I guess.
Okay, yeah. And it's just to keep the neighbours happy, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's also got jibbed, and then it's got bats behind that.
Right.
There's these leftover acoustic panels I've got on the ceiling and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just everything to try and dumb down that reverberation and whatnot.
Yeah. Man, this is amazing. So this, guys, is what this clever bastard here built in his spare time. Well, the rest of us were lying around eating cake, and I'm just amazed. So the next step for us is basically to run this car again and just sort of see what this little motor has, and hopefully what's something here that we can work with.